All right, looks come live. How's it going, guys? Well, it's Monday night. I normally don't stream on a Monday, but with what's going on in the news right now with Trump and gun rights, thought I'd just pop on real quick here and talk about what Trump said and, yeah, see what you guys think about it. See what we need to do about this because, I'm getting really sick and tired of this. Of course, every single day for years now, we've had the Democrats, the quote, other side, right? Every chance they get, every time there's a shooting, instead of mourning the losses, looking at, beefing up security, instead of getting rid of gun-free zones, instead of looking at psychological treatment, treating psychopaths and people that are sick and wondering why there's so many sick and mentally ill people nowadays, right? No, they never ask that question. All they do is every time there's somebody that enacts violence and happens to use a gun as their tool of choice, they immediately jump on and say, well, they use this, so we need to ban it. They use that, so we need to ban it. That's historically what the Democrats will say have been doing and the other side of the aisle, right? Well, now Trump's at it again. If you guys remember back, well, of course you remember back. If you remember back to Las Vegas, that crazy guy supposedly used a bump stock, right? And look, I'm not wearing a tinfoil hat, guys. This is just my regular old tried and true hat that a good friend of mine gave me years ago. No tinfoil hat here, but we've yet to see any proof that guy even used a bump stock, by the way. They said that he used a bump stock, right? But they never showed anything. They never showed any real evidence of it. And Trump immediately said, bump stocks, consider them gone. He also, very quickly after that, said he supported red flag laws. Like, take them quick. Like, take the guns first, then due process later, right? And people said, well, that was just bump stocks. Who cares about bump stocks, right? Well, they forgot that Trump had already banned a whole category of guns, right? Specifically the Kalashnikov variant known as the Vepr from the Molot factory. It was just a little while ago, we had our choice between two major manufacturers of AKs in Russia, right? We could get the Sagas, which were owned by a company that used to be called Izhmash at the factory at Izhevsk, right? Later became owned by a company called Kalashnikov Concern. Well, Obama banned those. And it's like, well, yeah, dude, Obama, of course, he was anti-gun. Well, then Trump got in office. He said, if you elect me, your 8-year assault on the Second Amendment is over. Those were his words. On the campaign trail, when he went to the NRAM, the NRA's annual meeting, he said, your attack on the Second Amendment is over. So what did he do? He banned the Molot AKs. We lost half of the AKs out there, right? Okay. I guess some of the AK guys cared, but it didn't seem like there was tons and tons of outrage in the overall gun community. Like Mateo just said, the 8-year assault was over. The new 4-year assault has begun. Yeah, that's a good way to word it. So he did that. And then all of a sudden, like I said, allegedly a bump stock was used in a shooting, right? Supposedly. Now, there's been tons and tons of lawsuits and Freedom of Information Act requests, lawsuits to get them to comply with the Freedom of Information. Lots of money in legal fees, lots of lawyers, gun rights groups, as well as just regular, civil rights groups have gone in there and tried to get them to turn over the evidence from that. Well, it doesn't matter. It was considered to have been a bump stock that was used in the Vegas event, and Trump said, just get rid of them, gone. I mean, he set a pretty big precedence there. He set precedence with executive action and overreach to basically take unelected bureaucrats and have them rewrite a law that's been enacted since 1934, major amendments in 1968. This is a law that should have had precedence, right? That should have been just settled as law of the land. Now, many of us disagree with this law, of course. I don't like the NFA at all, not whatsoever. And it's terrible that they defined a machine gun and said that we can't have one unless we paid a $200 tax stamp. And then, the Hughes Amendment 86 said the registry is now closed. No more new machine guns can be manufactured or sold. Well, Trump single-handedly, by an executive order, meaning, here's how this works, by the way, guys. Don't let people twist this around. And look, I'm going to knock on Trump for a minute. If you guys don't like it, I'm sorry. It's not about trying to piss people off. It's just the truth. And I look at gun rights no matter who's president. But Trump literally did an executive order, meaning he's the boss of the attorney general, who was Jeff Sessions at the time. And when he tells them, get rid of bump stocks, that's kind of sort of what Jeff Sessions has to do. He started it. Then there was an interim attorney general. And then now Bill Barr, who, of course, also supports the bump stock ban. And Bill Barr might look great right now, and he might be doing great when it comes to saying Trump was exonerated with the Russian collusion and now he's going to look for Hillary. That's fine. We can like some of the things Trump's doing while still realizing that he's against the Second Amendment. He's against our guns. He ordered bump stocks to be banned, period. He didn't just ban bump stocks. They wrote a long, convoluted ruling, 70-something pages long, that can be just interpreted on a whim, okay? On a whim. Well, they can ban almost anything, up to including triggers, trigger jobs, any semi-automatics. Read the wordings of it, guys. I've gone through this before. It's been a while. But Trump's so-called bump stock ban that he did by executive action, he skipped over the people's house. He skipped over the upper chamber of the Senate, skipped over all of that. Just remember that. Our 455 representatives did not ban bump stocks. Our 100 senators did not ban bump stocks. Donald J. Trump banned bump stocks. And we used to call Obama the emperor-in-chief. Do you remember that? Well, let me tell you guys something. Obama has done far less against guns that were actually successful than Trump has. And if Trump gets his wish, he's going to have more proposed than what Obama ever did. Remember the red flag laws? The ones that Senator Graham supports? That Senator Marco Rubio supports? Why? Because the NRA and Donald Trump both said, yeah, we should have red flag laws. And that's a quote. I'm quoting Trump when he said, take them quick. Take the guns first, due process later. He really actually said that. And you should have seen Dianne Feinstein sitting there when he said it. She just goes, Dianne Feinstein, first she almost had a stroke. She had to gather herself. And then she goes, oh, whoa. Are you kidding me? Like, he says stuff that she hasn't even had the balls to say. And Senator John Cornyn's just sitting there. You guys remember the press conference? Look it up later after this stream on YouTube. You'll find the footage. Cornyn's sitting there going, what do I do? What do I do? Because he's sitting right next to the president. He's the Republican, the senior senator from Texas. And he's going, you can see the look on his face, right? And then Dianne Feinstein, yeah. Now, when Dianne Feinstein is grinning ear to ear, you've got a problem. When Dianne Feinstein is in lockstep with the president on red flag laws and with Senator Lindsey Graham, he's the chairman of the committee that is now looking at a law to create red flag laws, okay? Now, look, I'm just giving you guys a little prologue, because I know some people are going to get mad at me for saying this. And again, look, guys, I have a lot of stuff to do. I'm a busy person. Last thing I'm doing is coming out here trying to get people mad. But it's okay. We can get mad. Because let's just say this. I voted for Donald Trump. I did. So let's just get that out of the blue. I voted for him. Was real excited about making America great again. I still am excited about making America great again. I want this to be the greatest country in the world. I want us to be prosperous jobs. I want to get rid of government bureaucracy and overreach. I want to get rid of the handcuffs on small businesses. All these things Trump talks about as far as the economy, the wall. I want the wall. I want border security. I want vetting, okay? I want good immigrants. I don't want the bad ones. So there's a lot of things I'll agree with him on. But Second Amendment's pretty big for me, guys. All of the amendments are pretty big for me. Rights and civil rights in general are big for me. Because really, if you take away our Bill of Rights and a couple clauses of our Constitution, we're no different than everybody else in the whole world. The only thing that's keeping us different from the rest of the world, where we are still this great experiment in self-governance, is because of our Bill of Rights. And these Bill of Rights don't grant us anything. I'm sick and tired of people talking about that on the news too. That, oh, the government gave the people the right to keep and bear arms, now it should take it away. No, that's a bunch of BS. Because when someone gives you something, yeah, they do actually have the right to take it away. But our founding fathers never gave us the right to keep and bear arms. They never gave us any of our rights. They said these are unalienable rights that are endowed to us by our Creator, which is God. If you're a Christian, it's the Christian God, right? If you're another religion, it's your God. But it's said by God. So the Bill of Rights is not rights that the government granted us. Anytime someone tells you that, just shake your head and say, nah, nope, you've got it all wrong. Because they do. That's not the case. What they are is they're rules that prohibits the government from reaching in. It prevents the jackboots from stepping on us like peasants. Like how our forefathers fought against when they left British tyranny, when they wanted to start a government, again, a grand experiment on self-governance, where we don't just have a dictator, where we don't have a king, where we don't have an emperor. There's a reason why there's 455 representatives. Why? Because they're in smaller districts. They're closer to us. In theory, these people are supposed to go to work in Washington part-time. Hear me on this. This is in theory. And then they're supposed to come back home to their districts. They're supposed to talk to people that live in their neighborhoods. And they're supposed to, A, help suit the needs and help the communities that they personally live in, but they're also supposed to look for the greater good of our Constitution and our Bill of Rights. They all swear an oath. Every one of them has to take an oath to protect and defend the Constitution. With the Bill of Rights, see, those are amendments to the Constitution. People keep forgetting that. When they raise their right hand and take an oath, usually it's their wife or someone that holds the Bible for them, they're swearing on God. And they're swearing on their allegiance to the country, that they don't just get to wear that little lapel pin, right? And get a lifetime health insurance, not Obamacare, better than what we get, but they get the deluxe health care, lifetime pension, millions of dollars of lobbying money. That's not all they're doing. With that comes great responsibility, and that is to defend and to protect the Constitution, which includes the Second Amendment. Now, look, there's many of those people that are against the Second Amendment, of course. Many of those people that claim to be progressives, that in the name of progress, right, they want to do away with this old archaic document. Yeah, there's people that want that in the House of Representatives and also in the upper chamber, the Senate. But not all of the people want that. At least outwardly they don't. At least they want to pretend they want to defend the Constitution to get votes, right? That's how I feel a lot of times with the Republicans, by the way. Because they'll say one thing to get elected and do otherwise. But I digress. We have checks and balances here, right? Is my point I'm getting at. We have a legislature that has two chambers. We have an executive and we have a judicial. So with all this said, here's the meat of the story tonight. I just got done giving you guys the backstory just to remind you of, and again, I know you guys already know everything I just said. I get it, but I think it's good sometimes to go over this stuff. Because there's so many people on TV, at work, in real life, on YouTube, they're going to try to tell you different. They're going to try to say, well, you know, if the president doesn't like something, they should just be able to get rid of it. No, that's BS. And just because they've been getting by with it for this long doesn't mean it's right. Just because this has become the new status quo, that the president does whatever the heck they want, and nobody can stop them, it still doesn't mean it's right. And no, this stream's not going to change any of it. I get that. But it doesn't mean I'm just going to go along with it. Even if it's going to happen regardless of what I say, I'm still going to speak out against it. Because I want to live in a country that has the Bill of Rights, with all 10 amendments, including the Second Amendment. I want laws to be created by the legislature and to be signed into law and upheld by the president, and then to be judged whether they're constitutional by the judiciary. You know, we have creation, right? We have enforcement. And then we have judging. Judge just simply means, hey, does this abide by what the Constitution's mandates are or not? Not supposed to make laws in the Supreme Court. The president's not supposed to make law. specifically states in the Congress, the power to make, or the Constitution, the power to make laws in the Congress. Well, why am I saying all this? Because last time Trump said he didn't like something, bump stocks, he just got rid of it, period. And let's fast forward. There was recently an act by a crazy psychopath in Virginia Beach. Very, very tragic. Again, we should be more mourning the losses of the families. I feel really bad for the families. I don't know anybody involved, but I still feel bad because they're all people nonetheless. You know, parents that'll never see their kids again, kids that'll never see their parents again. This is sad. But you know what? Now it's politicized again because now apparently this man used a silencer. Supposedly he used a silencer. Now, there's not a lot of evidence of that yet, but part of what I was getting at earlier is do we really need evidence? Because there's yet to be any evidence put forth that the Vegas shooter ever even used a bump stock. So silencer was allegedly, supposedly used. Now, Trump, this is about 24 hours ago, yesterday. This is on whitehouse.gov. So this is an official source right out of the horse's mouth. And this is on whitehouse.gov on their briefings and statements page. And the first question that one of the journalist asks was this. This is an exact quote of the question, okay? The suspect in the Virginia Beach shooting used a silencer on his weapon. Do you believe that silencers should be restricted? The president. I don't like them at all. So yes, that's exactly what President Trump said just yesterday. I don't like them at all. Well, if people think that the president can't just say he doesn't like something and there's nothing he's going to be able to do about it, hey, that's why I just had this 15-minute prologue, guys. I could have just got right on here and said, hey, look, the president doesn't like silencers. They could go away. And you'd say, well, you're nuts. How could that even be possible? Well, we've had a definition of what a machine gun is since 1934. Okay? A BS definition and a BS law that I don't agree with any of it, but we had a definition that stood the test of time, right? Been the law of the land for what, 85 years now, something like that? And like nothing, with a stroke of a pen, executive order, get rid of the bump stocks, and they were gone. So here's the thing. There's a lot in that bump stock ban, keep in mind. Yeah, bump stocks are the only thing that's officially that they've decided to enforce. But now that they've gone through all the time with what's called the rulemaking process, where there was a public comment period, an initial one, then there was a secondary public comment. They've satisfied all of that now. And everything that's in that 72-page bump stock ban ruling has gone through public comment. There's been Supreme Court precedents. There's been precedents upon precedents upon precedents, and I'm not joking. When you read this order, you'll see what I mean, where they're taking a ruling that's a ruling on another ruling to now arrive at this current ruling. It's all in there. So all it takes is this president or another president to come in there and say, well, I now direct my head of the ATF to get rid of binary triggers. It's not going to take months to get rid of like it did the bump stock anymore. The public comment already went through for all of it. It could take weeks. It could take days to get rid of that. How about your Ithaca Model 37 featherweight shotgun, where you hold the trigger down, and every time you rack a shell into the trigger with the pump action, it ignites the primer and the round goes off? You can fire it by slam firing it. Read it, guys. That's technically banned by the bump stock ban too. Now, don't mistake what I'm saying. There's a difference between it being grouped in as a machine gun versus being enforced. Keep in mind, we have immigration laws on the books that Obama provided amnesty for 8 years on, where, yeah, there's millions of people breaking the law, but Obama, ordered by executive action that all of his federal prosecutors, you're not allowed to prosecute on that. There is something called prosecutional, what do they call that? I'm losing the words now. I'm sorry. There's a discretion. I'm sorry. Prosecution discretion that they can use where at the discretion of the higher ups in the government, meaning the president, the attorney general, right? people that govern over all of the prosecutors, they can say, look it, under prosecution discretionary, we're going to say, don't go after binary yet. Just go after bump stocks. And all it really takes is a little one-page memo. Now go after this. Now go after that. Yeah, thanks, Dex, for that. Prosecutorial discretion. Again, guys, I'm not really prepared, like, physically to do a stream tonight. I worked like 12 hours today. I'm a little bit tired, so don't mind me a little bit. But I appreciate you guys bearing with me on not remembering how to speak. But anyways, I think this is important because now he's saying he doesn't like silencers. Let me quote him again one more time for those of you just joining. I don't like them at all. Now, we already have a National Firearms Act, NFA, and it says, well, no, silencers are completely legal. You just have to fill out a stack of paperwork, photo, fingerprints, $200 tax stamp, wait 10 to 12 months, get this little, and it does look like a postage stamp, by the way, get this little postage stamp back that says tax paid, and then you're good to go. You can have your silencer, right? Well, guess what? The National Firearms Act also said what a machine gun was very clearly and completely proven fact. Bump stocks did not meet that definition, but guess what? If you have one today and they decide to prosecute you, you'll be tried against the same crime. You'll be up against, they'll convene a grand jury, the same as they will if you had an old STG-44 with the little push button selector on the side. No difference. AK with a third pinhole, bump stock, same thing. So it doesn't really matter if we have an NFA that actually defines the law because we've just simply seen this happen before. And it happened pretty swiftly. And here's the thing that sucks. When Trump goes after guns, here's what really, really sucks. See, the Democrats, they always stand true to their mottos. That's one thing I'm going to respect them on and say where they're actually a lot better at politics than the Republicans. Now, I don't agree with their political platform. Let me make that clear before I go on. Their ideas are not good, but at playing politics and getting their agenda passed, they're way, way better than us. Because every time they want something done, they all stick together, 100% lockstep. You never see a Democrat jumping over with the Republicans to try to stop a gun control bill. How many, Democrats that claim to be pro-gun from pro-gun states, where were they at with the Hearing Protection Act, trying to legalize silencers completely and get them off of the National Firearms Act and make them just regular Title I firearms? None of them, zero. So guess what happens? The Republicans, nope, we're not so smart. Our people that we vote for, they're not nearly as smart as sticking together as the Democrats. So what happens? Trump goes and says, I want this banned. Well, of course, every Democrat's going to join with him. Bipartisan. That's one of the only things they agree with him on. So they're all going to jump on it. Every single one. All right, we're with Trump on banning it. Well, the Republicans, you're going to have a quarter at least, if not a third, maybe even half of them go with Trump so they can toe the party line. And they can go with what the president says. Even though every one of them campaigns, almost all of them, I should say, campaign on being pro-gun, anti-gun control. If you elect me, I'll pass this many pro-gun bills and I'll vote against every anti-gun bill. That's what they all say. But a lot of them will go with Trump because he's a Republican. Now, if Hillary was president right now, and she was saying the same stuff Trump was, every last Republican would be kicking and screaming. Every single one of them would be voting against it. Guaranteed. What kind of gun control was actually passed, made it through anywhere under Obama? He did a couple low-handed executive actions. I'm not letting him off the hook, guys. I'm just saying. Anything Obama supported, the Republicans were against. You never saw Republican, senators, the committee chairman like Lindsey Graham taking up red flag laws under Obama. Are you kidding me? But the Republican president called for red flag laws. And guess what? The Republican-led Senate with the Republican chairman, he's on there talking about red flag laws. The ranking member, Senator Feinstein, she was talking about them too. I did a video about this, guys, a couple months ago, if you want to go back and look at it. If you listen to that video, watch it on YouTube, of the ranking member, the Republican the ranking member Feinstein and the Republican Lindsey Graham talking, you can't even tell which one's the Democrat and which one's the Republican. I mean, literally. Graham sitting there, well, I'm a gun owner and all, but it doesn't mean we can't have reasonable restrictions. And then Feinstein says pretty much the same thing, besides the gun owner part, even though the ironic part is she is actually a gun owner. She just doesn't really talk about it. So, yeah, it's kind of scary when you have a Republican president that's going to pull Republicans in, right, just to toe the party line, and every Democrat's going to agree with him too. So who is going to go against him? Who is going to stop him? We have the 2020 race coming up. Who the heck are we supposed to vote for? Are we supposed to vote for Kamala Harris, who promises that if the Congress doesn't pass gun control laws, she'll enact them by executive order within the first 100 days? Is that who we should vote for pro-gun? Should we vote for Eric Swalwell, who says if his gun confiscation order starts a civil war, it'll be a short one because the government has nukes? Is that who we should vote for? Should we vote for who should we vote for? Who is going to have our back on guns? What about President Trump? Should we vote for him? I'm asking you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the chat here. I'm going to say hi to you guys in the chat in 1 second, because I do appreciate you guys being here to hang out with me. That's really cool. I'm just kind of going on a rant here, and I'm just wanted to finish my thought. But who are you going to vote for if the Second Amendment is one of the most important things on the ballot for you? What if it's the most important thing? What if you believe that the Second Amendment is in place to make sure they don't get rid of the rest of them? What if you believe that the Second Amendment is the only thing keeping us away from a tyrannical government, from being just like all the other countries in the world where they took their guns? And then communism came in. I've done a lot of videos about that too. Gun control is a big, big part of fascism taking root, Nazism, socialism. Do we want that in our country? Of course not. Do any of you guys believe that the Second Amendment is one of the key things that makes us different than other countries? And if you do, who are you going to vote for? Look, we've had other presidents in the past, and that is funny, Dog Dad. God isn't running for president. Right, but the thing is, we don't need God for that. We do need God, trust me. But we don't need to have God as our president. God's way bigger than that. We do need a lot more God in this country, by the way. A lot more God in this country. We need God to show mercy on our souls for all the crazy people in this world that are out killing people just because their heads messed up, because we're prescribing all these weird medicines nowadays. Nobody has any social interaction anymore. And no one even knows how to look someone in the eye. And we've got, tell them, hey, man, I've got a problem. Can we solve this? Yeah, let's go out back. Give each other a few good shots. Do you know how many people are best friends that I know 20, 30 years later after they've gave each other a couple shots in the eye, cold cocked each other a few times? Now, look, I'm not advocating for fighting, but everything's so politically correct now where you can't even stand up for yourself. You can't even argue with your classmates in school anymore. So these kids just get all this pent-up anger. Everyone picks on them because they're not allowed to stand up for themselves. All there's a bunch of bullies and a bunch of crackpots that are taking a bunch of drugs that are prescribed to them by doctors because it's easier to give someone a pill than it is to actually sit there and read your kids a bedtime story. To take the video games away from your kids and say, get out and play. Learn how to be a man. Yes, you are a man because you have, testicles. So you're a man. Go out and act like one. Go out and play G.I. Joe. Go play cowboys and Indians. No, everyone's so politically correct nowadays. Cowboys and Indians is racist. You can't play that. You're not allowed to fight with your friends anymore when you're a kid because, fighting's a Class A misdemeanor and it could ruin your whole career. You'll never go to college, blah, blah, blah. So what have we done? We've refined people where they just sit there and just play video games, look at screens, don't even interact. This is how people learn how to solve problems in life, is what I'm getting at with all this. They interact. Instead, they're cooping all these people up, drugging them more and more, and then they lose it. And they don't know how to deal with the problems then. So they just fly off the deep end and say, well, I need to kill everybody now. Now, look, I'm not a psychologist. I don't know how to diagnose people officially, but I can tell you, there's some pretty messed up people right now. And taking away the guns so that good guys, people that are actually sane and want to just protect their family, want to raise their kids right, want to come home from work, and just do the simple things so we can protect ourselves and protect our families from some punk that didn't know how to deal with reality, so thought he had to go in and shoot up the school, shoot up the workplace. Guns have got nothing to do with it. Look at all these third world countries where they're stoning people to death on a regular basis, where they're using sticks, where they're using clubs, where they're just lighting places on fire, driving vehicles into people. Yeah, there's some problems in this country, and we really, really need to beg God to show mercy on this country because there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. But no, we don't need God as our president. And I know you were joking. I'm not being critical of anything you said, man. Just going off on a little tangent here. But basically, we've had a lot of presidents in the past that were pro-gun. Look at the Democrat, JFK. Have you guys seen his gun collection? There was an auction years ago, and some people still, post pictures of prized guns they bought from his gun collection. JFK, he was pro-gun. That's a Democrat. Okay? Bill Clinton, well, he was anti-gun, obviously, right? George H.W. Bush, anti-gun. Teddy Roosevelt, he was pro-gun. Certainly pro-gun. Now, his nephew or whatever, Franklin D. Roosevelt, he was anti-gun. Ronald Reagan, not so much. He's not so pro-gun either. But there's a lot of regular people out there that are pro-gun. Look at Rand Paul. I'm just bringing up some people right now that are high political power. Rand Paul's pro-gun. I can't see Rand Paul banning guns if he was elected, for example. Yeah, most of them are anti-gun, but not all of them. There's some pro-gun people out there for sure. Well, of course, lots of tyrannical people love guns. Like General Mao said, all political power comes from the barrel of a gun. Of course. When I say the people that loved guns, though, what I actually mean, I think you know this, what I'm saying here. What I mean is they like gun rights. They like the Second Amendment. So I'm sorry, let me specify here. I'm saying when I say that they liked guns and didn't like guns, I thought I was stating the obvious, but I guess I wasn't. So let me correct what I was trying to say. When I said they liked guns, I meant they wanted the Second Amendment to flourish, and they believed that the people had the right to keep and bear arms. And the ones that didn't like guns were the ones that don't want the peasants to have guns. That's to clarify what I meant about who likes guns and who doesn't. So let's see who's in the chat tonight. Wow, there's a lot of talk in here. This is cool. Okay, we got Mateo 1371, SwitchPod, Bastard 762. We have Joey King, Mike Sylvester, Chris, and we have Kill Thunder 88, Sword of the Spirit KJV, and Harold Deems. What's happening, Harold? Haven't seen you in a while, man. Mike Sylvester, did I say hi to you yet? Limbert Johnson, what's happening, Limbert? Let's see here, guys. I'm going to try to skim through in 1 second. Dex, who had to remind me that it's prosecutorial discretion, because it's a tongue twister, especially when you started working, around 7 a.m. I know I saw Dog Dad in here. Yeah, Dog Dad's here. Any of you guys have dogs, by the way? Any of you guys into feeding your dogs like a good diet and all that? I actually don't have dogs. Dog Dad does. I definitely recommend checking out his channel if you have pet dogs. I mean, I've actually watched a few of his videos and found them interesting, and I literally don't even have a dog at all. But if you do have a dog, I'd head over there after the stream, guys, and check him out. He's got a lot of really, really good stuff for you dog owners. Rockford Ordnance is here. What's up, man? I thought I saw someone else here. Will G, what's happening? And Tim 18 Wheels is here. Shooting with Uncle Dan. How's it going, man? Yeah, I was thinking the hogs might have ate you. You are still alive. Is that really him? Hey, Tim 18 Wheels, make sure that's really Uncle Dan, okay? Good to see you guys again. But anyways, yeah, for those of you just coming in, I've been ranting again. President Trump's doing it again. I'll read it one more time for the guys that didn't hear it the first time. So yesterday at an interview at the White House, the media, was asking him, someone asked the president, they said, the suspect in the Virginia Beach shooting used a silencer on his weapon. Do you think that silencers should be restricted? And then the president said, I don't like them at all. Scary, scary, scary. He didn't like the bump stocks and poof, they were just gone. Just like that. And like I said, I'm not trying to repeat everything I said, but I see some guys that just came in here. It didn't matter if we liked bump stocks or not. Bump stocks had nothing to do with it. The fact is, we lost something gun-related, right? That we'll probably never get back. So, what are you guys thinking? And I should go up and read the comments because I asked you guys for answers, and maybe some of you actually did. But I said, look, who the heck are we supposed to vote for? Kamala Harris? Is she going to protect our gun rights? Eric Swalwell? What about crazy Uncle Joe Biden? Just shoot 2 blasts. Shoot through the door. There's been actually people do that since he said that. And their lawyers literally claim that as defense. It was taking the advice of the vice president. I swear, guys, look it up. That's actually been invoked by people's defense attorneys on more than one case. 2 that I know of, and I think 3. And in both of the cases I was looking at, they were still found guilty. That was not a defense. The vice president giving people legal advice. Just shoot through the door. You guys want him to be president to protect our guns? What about him? What about Cory Booker? Guy said, another man said he assaulted him sexually in the bathroom. Is that true or not? I don't know. That's what was said. Do you want him as president? Cory Booker. Seen that clown lately? Spartacus? Remember him? How about him? Let's see here. Who's going to be better to protect our guns? Spartacus, Cory Booker, or Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas? Let's see. Who's going to protect them? You keep going through more and more Democrats. Kirsten Gillibrand. What about her? The senator from New York. The junior senator from New York. Kirsten. Is she going to protect your guns? Well, then we better vote for the Republican, right? Or should we? What are we supposed to do, guys? This is literally getting ridiculous. Do I like the economy that Trump's helping out with? Yes. Look, I own a small business. Now, I actually own 2 small businesses, to be correct. Not wealthy small businesses, hence that's why I need to own 2 to survive. But anyways, I filed my taxes like I always do. After that tax cut went through, it did save me some money, guys. He really did cut taxes for small businesses. That's true. That's a good thing. Wanting to strengthen our borders, cut down on all the crappy immigrants. We want the good ones. I want the good ones. But the bad ones, that's good. But on the Second Amendment, specifically, is Trump going to be better than the other ones? Because like I said earlier, if a Democrat proposes gun control, every Republican's against it, every time. And all the Democrats are for it. But when the Republican proposes gun control, every Democrat's for it, and anywhere between a quarter and a third usually is what it ends up being of the Republicans support it. So it gets a super majority, and it has no problem getting through. So what's Trump going to do now? Am I being a little bit presumptuous, a little paranoid? Maybe. He hasn't done anything. But the fact of how swiftly he got rid of bump stocks, he got rid of them so fast, so fast, and he got on there around the same time and said, take the guns first, due process later. And now when he says, let me make sure I'm quoting him properly, I don't like them at all. Ooh, this is just sounding so much like a broken record. Like we've heard this before, right? Like literally, it's like that whole same trailer, different park. Like I've been here before. It might be in a different setting, but once you walk in the door, you're like, oh, I've been here. I don't know, guys. I don't know who I'm going to vote for. I showed this in a previous stream, and I'm not going to be faking this. I'm going to dig through a pile 3 foot tall on this table next to me and show you guys something. And the fact that it's buried 3 foot deep shows you where I'm at with this. Let me see if I can find this. Over here. I would adjust my camera, but it'll probably never come back into focus. All right, look. A good friend of mine gave this to me, okay? I wore, you know, I wore one in 2016, 2015. He gave this to me. And I do appreciate the gift. I really, really do. The thought of the gift that counts is awesome. So it's nothing to do with that. No, just I thank my friend for the gift. But look, this is brand new, guys. This has never been put on my head. With what he did to the bump stocks, okay? I'm going to put it back over here. Now look, with what he did with bump stocks, that got me pretty chapped. Because here's my problem. No, I can't vote for Kirsten Gillibrand. I can't vote for Sleepy Shotgun Joe Biden. No, I can't vote for Cory Booker. I can't vote for him. But you know what else I can't do? And I promised myself this. I cannot vote for someone that I know is anti-gun. Now, if they claim they're pro-gun and they end up screwing me later, well, whatever. What can I do? If I was psychic, I wouldn't be here talking with you. Oh, I'd be off somewhere too rich to probably even have time to do this or whatever. You guys know what I'm saying. No, I'd probably actually do this anyways, believe it or not. Why not? But you know what I mean? I'd be a billionaire if I was psychic. I had my doubts about Trump, and I even said it before on gun rights. I did. But I thought, well, maybe, his son's real pro-gun, they say. Maybe he'll, keep his dad straight. Camel Toe Harris has my vote. Isn't she a disaster? She is such a disaster. If you look at her when she was the Attorney General of California, the only one that could be worse on guns than her is probably Donald Trump at this point. So what the hell am I supposed to do, guys? Should I put that freaking hat on and lie to myself? Because I'm telling you guys the truth. The Second Amendment is my number one thing that I vote on. It's not the only thing I care about. Absolutely not the only thing I care about. I care about many, many things. I'm actually very, very politically involved. I sit there and watch those. I go to the Oversight and Reform Committee's YouTube page, and I'll sit there when I'm doing paperwork in the background and listen to like a 3-hour congressional hearing as a podcast. So there's many issues that are important to me. But number one is gun rights for me. The whole Bill of Rights, but specifically gun rights. Because I am one of those old-fashioned people that believes that the second is there to keep them honest and make sure they can't take the rest of them from us. Because if you look at other countries that don't have a Second Amendment, they've also lost freedom of speech. How quickly can you be jailed? Jailed in England for saying something about somebody that's considered to be a little racially insensitive or religiously insensitive. Now, look, I don't want to be a racist either. I'm not condoning it. But you can say almost anything nowadays and somebody could take sensitive to it. You can go to jail for your speech in England, where guns are practically illegal, which here's what's ironic about it. Silencers, though, over there, you can buy those on the shelf, just like you can a firearms accessory. I've heard it's no harder to buy a silencer in England than it is a case for your gun. But I digress. Second Amendment is the number one reason, the most important reason for me to vote, amongst many other reasons. And if you're anti-gun, I can't vote for you. But I feel that I need to vote because that's our duty as citizens. We need to keep people honest. We need to flush the tyrants out. We need to vote in people that are actually going to serve the Constitution to help keep this country free, to throttle back the government. Those are the types of people I want in office. People that when they're in office, they're going to make the government smaller and not bigger. But what am I supposed to do? What are you guys going to do? Chris brings up a good one. Do you suppose his appointments help any? In one way, yes, but absolutely freaking not. You know why? You know why his appointments mean jack shit? Like literally nothing? Because Firearms Policy Foundation and Gun Owners of America sued. All right, am I back, guys? Okay. Man, it's just like the old days. I used to talk politically a lot on there. Every time I get political and start ripping on the government, they buffer the crap out of my stream. I used to rant about politics for an hour, 2 hours straight on here, loving every minute of it. And there was so much gun rights issue stuff going on. I said, you know what, guys? I'm not giving up on gun rights, but right now stuff's a little calm. I'm going to just talk about guns for a while. Anyways, what I was saying earlier about his Supreme Court picks, I'm sure it cut me off during there. Yeah, it's great in theory for Trump to get more Supreme Court picks, but you know what it's done to help us so far? Absolutely nothing. It's done nothing to help us, and here's why. GOA, Firearms Policy Foundation, both filed separate lawsuits to try to stop the bump stock ban from going into effect. Let's go with the GOA's lawsuit, for example. Started off in the Western District Federal Court of Michigan. Okay? That judge wouldn't stop it. He wouldn't put a stay on the law. He let the bump stock ban proceed. Went to the 6th Circuit Court of Appeal. Guess what? They wouldn't put a stay on it either. If you guys are new to my channel, go back. You guys that have been with me a while know I talked about bump stocks a ton. Really, really, really tried to do my little part, which I knew wouldn't help, but I had to try anyways to stop that crap. But anyways, whatever. Circuit Court of Appeals. GOA lost there. So they went to SCOTUS. You know what happened? Supreme Court turned down the appeal. I will say this. Gorsuch and Thomas dissented. So yes, one of Trump's picks wanted to go against the Trump bump stock ban. One of them. But Kavanaugh, no problem. Roberts, no problem. So there you go, guys. And look, I'm not ripping on anyone that says this, but yes, that is one of the most common things people say when they're debating with me on topic. They say, look, Trump's overall still good for gun rights because of his Supreme Court justice nominees. And I agree with you in a way, but not really either. Because, again, we've had 2 cases reach the Supreme Court recently over the bump stock that was demanded by Trump. Where I hate to say this, he was acting more like an emperor-in-chief. And gosh, it hurts me to say that. It really, really does. But Obama was never even that brazen. Obama and his administration said 3 separate times in writing that bump stocks were not machine guns and could not be regulated by the National Firearms Act. Obama had our back on the bump stocks. He had the Constitution's back on bump stock. Now, look, I'm saying that tongue-in-cheek. Does he have the Second Amendment's back? Of course not. Does Obama really have our back? Of course not. But specifically, namely on the bump stocks, Obama had our back on them, and Trump did not. I'm just saying. Supreme Court. Where the heck was the Supreme Court? They could have stopped that bump stock ban, and if they would have, it would have done so much more to save bump stocks than just bump stocks. It would have said, no, this has gone too far. This Chevron deference, as it's called. Look up Chevron deference, guys, in your spare time. Chevron deference is so much bigger than just gun rights. But what it means is, if there's a little bit of a dilemma here where you've got a law that says this and a government regulation by an unelected bureaucrats that say this, and they're kind of competing. There's kind of an even argument. The Chevron deference is a Supreme Court, and it was Chevron versus like the National Wildlife Agency, I believe. And Chevron says if it's a tie between what the law says versus what the bureaucrat says, the bureaucrat wins. And that is why bump stock ban has held so far. That's why the Supreme Court was unwilling to do an emergency injunction and stop the ban from taking effect, just to put a stay on it, meaning we're just going to hold off and not let the law go in until they fully have time to litigate. They weren't willing to do that because of Chevron deference. Now, look, even gun rights aside, every good conservative says he's against Chevron deference. But the good conservatives that Trump appointed, where were they at? They didn't take the chance to stand up for the Second Amendment. They didn't take the chances to overturn the Chevron case that is considered precedent, therefore, law of the land, quote unquote. I'm serious, guys, when you're bored sometime. If some of this stuff isn't making sense or whatever, look up Chevron deference. It has everything to do with this, and it's crazy. The APA, like Mateo said, look that up too. The APA has everything to do with this. It basically says, look, we know the Constitution says Congress can make law. Yeah. But bureaucrats really can make law. And when they make law that conflicts with a law that the elected members of Congress passed, yeah, the unelected bureaucrats win. So no, as of right now, the way it sits, nope. We're no better off on the Second Amendment with Trump whatsoever, including his Supreme Court justices. Because before it was always a hypothetical. Well, you don't know. What you don't know, those Supreme Court justices could really come through for us on this huge Second Amendment case. Nah, they haven't come through at all. Will they in the future? I hope so. This is one of those things right now, guys, where I hope I'm wrong. I hope Gorsuch and Kavanaugh gets right in there and, saves us from the devil himself. I really do. But all I can say, right in front of our face, they had the chance to help us, and not just help us, but help our country. Preserve the Second Amendment. They turned it down. The so-called, we supposedly have a majority, a 5-4 majority in the Supreme Court. Crazy. Rockford Ordinance says, maybe it's all left-wing plot. Put Trump, the ex-Dem, in power. Find out who all his loony followers are and drop the hammer. Glock Shooter 79 pass from the brown shirts. Yeah. I think I might. I probably will get a pass from the brown shirts. Hold on, guys. They'll see me wielding this at the door, and they'll say, well, hold on a minute. Hold your fire. He's one of us. He's one of us, boys. Leave him be. Right? So I might get a pass. I'll get a pass for a minute, right? And then I'll say, just joking, boys. I'm not one of you at all. This is the one that I prefer. And then it'll be on. Mauser action against Mauser action. What are we going to take here? Gerver 98 versus 1903. Same action. Completely different countries, obviously. So I don't want to make light of that part of it. Let's see. I'm going to wrap this up in a minute, guys. This is supposed to be a 15-minute stream just to kind of get the word out. But, yeah. Thank you, Black Knight. Tim 18 Wheels. The only thing we have good with Trump is he will obey court orders, even if he doesn't agree with them. But if courts are not even, Grant may stay. They are telegraphing bias. Yeah. That's the thing. I don't know. I don't want to say that SCOTUS is completely like, it's hard to explain. Look, I'm not trying to completely exaggerate my points here, but here's the facts. The bump stock cases by two separate organizations' lawsuits, right? Both of which I was technically plaintiffs on, members of both of the organizations. SCOTUS did not come through for us recently at all, period. So it's kind of one of those things where I hate it when I'm in a situation where you're screwed if you do, you're screwed if you don't. Lesser of two evils, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. No. That's not what I want to have to do. And I don't want to sit home and not vote. I mean, you guys have watched enough of my videos. Do I seem like the type of guy that wants to sit at home and not vote? Of course not. I need to vote. I can't vote anti-gun. So who am I going to vote for? And here's the thing that's scary too. Let me bring this up because this is one more thing that I was thinking about. And Orion, I will avenge you. Here you go, dude. This is for you, Orion. You can feign that you're with the Emperor, okay? So I'm gonna hand this right through. There you guys go. It just went right through the screen. Hey, Pork Conservative, keep your hands off of that. I handed that to a Ryan Fixer, okay? That's for him. So, anyways, here's the thing. Trump's up for re-election right now as a Republican. Now, generally, the Republicans at least pretend to be a little more pro-gun. So when he's trying to gain votes right now from so-called conservatives, big election coming up, he has no problem talking crap about the Second Amendment again. He's had no problem banning bump stocks, banning the Russian AKs, like I said earlier, the Molat Vepers. A bunch of Mosins, too, by the way. Mosins. Yeah, model 1891 rifles. A lot of those got banned by Trump's Molat ban, too. Don't forget that. Molat was holding a lot of those that were getting imported through Molat, through WPA. Look it up. I'll show a video on one time, guys, just to show you what I'm talking about. Yes, one of the main reasons Mosins went up to 350, yeah, the war in Ukraine and all that a little bit. Nah, Trump's Molat ban is why. Molat owned a lot of those rifles. Anyways, let me get back on topic here. I mean, I am on topic, but there's like 15 different things. It's like, holy crap. When Obama was in power, I was running out of stuff to talk about. Now that Trump's in power, the Republican, I can talk about gun control so late in the night, I won't even be able to work tomorrow. Hell, I should just become a Democrat, right? I can rip on Trump all night long, not work. At least I'll get a check. So there you go. I'm voting for Camel Toe Harris because she'll take my guns just like Trump, but if she's in office, I'll get a better chance of a welfare check. So I can quit working and I can just stream till 4 or 5 a.m. every night. Does that sound good, guys? Anyways, Trump supposedly needs our vote right now. 2020 is coming right on up. He needs our vote. And he's brazenly just, boom, I hate guns. I hate bump stocks. Screw it. Get rid of this. Take the guns first. Due process later. This is when he supposedly needs our freaking vote. What about when he wins? If he wins. If he doesn't win, well, then we're going to be talking about Joe Biden. But say he does win. Unless he wants to completely shred other amendments of the Constitution, he's not allowed to run a third time. When there's no more voter accountability. If he's gone this rogue against the Second Amendment, well, he needs votes from people that are infuriated at him, enraged at him. Yeah, Reagan did the same thing. Absolutely, Black Knight. And Reagan has everything to do with this. You know why? Because if it wasn't for him signing that Hughes Amendment, backed by the NRA Hughes Amendment, bump stocks wouldn't be as big of a deal. Yeah, they would be. And in one sense, they'd be just as big of a deal. I don't want it to come off wrong, guys. But you could spend $200 at least and have just a real machine gun, and then you probably wouldn't care as much about bump stocks. I mean, you still might, and I still wouldn't want them banned. Look, if there was no NFA and machine guns were just completely legal and you could buy them for $1, just hypothetically, I think bump stocks should exist. Why? Look, my trucks are red, but I'll be the last person that says they need to get rid of white or silver or blue trucks. You know what I'm saying? So, if Trump's going this far, and like people have said lately, Trump's trying to say more and more, I'm like Ronald Reagan. Well, if he is, this may be a good thing in a way for our economy on the surface of things, but it's not going to be good for our gun rights or our civil rights or, in my opinion, the long-term health of this country as a whole. Sword of the Spirit brings up a good thing. Trump's also militarizing the local police. I was just talking about that with some people. And Hank Strange's stream earlier. I think some guy that was in there was taking me the wrong way. Yeah, Chris, you bring up a good point, man. I've been thinking Reagan too. Pretty words, anti-gun actions. I would have already owned a full auto if possible. So would I, dude. So would I. All these people are just a bunch of words. What a shame. Words, and more words. Remember Trump on the campaign last year? I have words. I have the best words. There you go. Now look, it sounds like right now you're at a freaking DNC meeting, doesn't it? Listening to me. That's not the point. Am I supposed to, let's see, Kamala Harris, lazy, crazy Uncle Joe Biden, Cory Booker, allegedly, according to a guy's affidavit, sexually assaulted another man in the bathroom. Maybe him. That sounds like a real moral choice, doesn't it? What about Mayor Pete? Do you want him and his husband, the first man, to be president? Hey, whatever. Vote for him. He's real pro-gun, too. 1018 Wheels. Does Trump really think he can split the Democratic vote on gun control? I don't know. Yeah, Mike Sylvester brings up a point. Bump stock buyback. It wasn't even a buyback. That's what's crazy about it. Even Australia, this crazy Australian-style gun control that you remember Hillary Clinton ran on and said, I support Australian gun control. You know what they did in Australia? They confiscated the guns. Turn them in or you're a felon. And they paid you for it. Now, that's terrible. Do I want a gun buyback? Heck no. That's the second worst possible thing. You know what I used to say? This is what I honestly used to say to people. If Hillary gets elected, she wants Australian gun control. That Australian gun control, which was a forced buyback under duress of a gun. Someone holding a gun to you and saying, you will turn in your gun or I will kill you if you resist. That's what that means, right? That's what felony means. It means you will comply and put your hands up and turn in your property. And if you resist, yeah, you guys know what happens. So anyways, I used to say this to people. I really did. Ask my friends about this. I used to say the worst thing that could happen is if we had Australian-style gun control. Could you imagine that? And now here I am, 2019, coming up here soon, ready to vote again. And now Australian-style gun control is the second worst. Because you know what was worse? At least in Australia, as jackboot as it was, their legislature actually voted it in as a law, first and foremost. Bump stocks? No way. No vote. Executive action. Unilateral decision. Monarchy. Oligarchy. Sound familiar? King. Emperor. Führer. Whatever you want to call it. One man makes law. Unapologetic. Answers to nobody. Okay. That's one difference. You want to know what the second difference was? This is what Mike Sylvester got me started here. In Australia, they at least bought them back. So, yeah, it was gun control, but it wasn't the worst possible scenario because the bump stock ban, much, much worse. They actually took lawfully purchased property. No grandfather clause. No takings clause. Nope. Took them. You could either turn it in or destroy it. Or be subjected to committing a felony. Didn't pay you one red cent. Australia at least paid their people money. So at least they got some money back. Okay? New Zealand, more recently here. Guess what New Zealand's doing? They're doing a buyback. It's terrible, guys. It's terrible. At least they're paying people for them. People work hard for their property. Doesn't matter what it is. If they say, well, you can't have data, you can't have info. Well, guess what? I had to work to buy this Data Traveler flash drive. Now, look, 4 gigabytes is kind of small now, but back when I bought this was state of the art. I probably had to work an hour or more to buy this. How crazy is that? Is that someone could just come and take this from me? The government could? Where I worked an hour, paid 27 to 30% to them, so they could come and take the rest of the hour away from me? You can't do that in this country, can you? Too bad they just did. And Trump's Supreme Court appointments that were going to save us all, they didn't stop it. They didn't stop it. So just keep that in mind. Will they stop something in the future? I hope so. Do I have any proof they will? Well, of course not. If I'm using the past to look at the future, if Obama went after 3 or 4 things and successfully got rid of them while he was still supposedly beholden to the voters, what's he going to do when he gets elected again? 100 things? All of them? I don't know. Rockford Ordinance. Let's see here. Rockford Ordinance. How about a grassroots bump stock 2A? Or Second Amendment. Tell Trump we won't vote rally. Let's start it. We show up at Trump rally. Not a bad idea, actually, man. Let's see here. Not a bad idea. Here's the problem, though, for us, and it always is. Most of us have jobs and go to work. Most of the other side doesn't really have jobs as much or something, or they're just more organized or something, because they always show up more. But I hear you, man. Yeah. That's sort of the spirit. I don't know if you were there earlier. That's exactly what I said. If Hillary was president, we'd have less gun control. I hate to say it, because anytime a Democrat proposes something, every Republican storms against them. You'd have all the Republican senators filibustering. You'd have them all getting on TV, getting all the troops riled up, marches, rallies everywhere. You know? Yeah. There's a way to talk about this stuff, guys. We should. I mean, I'm not important enough. I don't have enough influence to really get it going, but with a couple of you guys talking here, we might be able to get a little something going here, you know? Yeah. Like Chris says, we can't register new machine guns. Yeah, they want to declare our bump stocks machine guns. Exactly. That's the problem. Rockford Ordinance, are you listening to what you're saying? Are you talking to me? No, I wouldn't. If you're talking to me, absolutely not. I wouldn't turn them into a buyback. Maybe you didn't hear everything I said. What I said is, look, I used to think that the whole Australian buyback was the worst possible way to take guns. Now I just said it's the second worst. The worst is where they just confiscate something, no way to grandfather, and they don't even give you compensation. Look, it's kind of like someone coming up from behind you and doesn't even give you the courtesy of a reach around. That's the kind of point I'm making. You know what I'm saying? So no, if I came off the wrong way to anybody, guys, trust me, that's not what I meant. I didn't mean there's anything I prefer about a buyback. And heck no, I'm not going to sell my guns to a buyback. Are you kidding me? Not a chance. So no, I was just saying that, being hypothetical here, at least if they had bought them back, it would have been just a smidgen better than how Trump did it. Still terrible. Still a failing grade. It's just Australian gun control, E. Trump gun control, E minus. Is that a better way to put it into perspective? No buyback from me. I'm not that guy. Trust me. Militia says Trump's starting to scare the crap out of me. Me too, man. I'm wondering what he's going to do if he wins re-election. And here's the thing. If you guys have noticed this whole time, I've not once said don't vote for Trump. I've not once said don't, I want you guys to support the Democrat. Please don't think that's what I'm saying at all. And you know what? I'm not going to vote for the Libertarian either if it's Gary Johnson, just to get more people mad at me probably, but nope. So I literally mean this. It's not a hypothetical. What the heck am I supposed to do? I guess I've got some time to think about it, and we'll talk about this in other streams, and I'm sure you guys are asking the same question. Do you want 5 pounds of crap in a sack, or do you want 5 pounds of crap in a bag? What do you prefer? A sack of crap or a bag of crap? Now think carefully, guys, because our whole country's futures are at stake here. Our rights are at stake here, being free people, and everything we've come to know about living in this country. That's all that's at stake. Nothing big here. So, maybe we should just flip a coin. I mean, this is crazy. This is really, really getting me mad. And when the president supports something like this publicly, all it does is he adds more fuel to all the senators, all the representatives, lets them know that it's okay. Oh, boy, there's a lot of good comments here. Desert Loner's here. Desert Loner said, if you believe it's a wasted vote, then it automatically means deep inside our vote doesn't matter regardless. And that's a whole nother conversation, man. It really is. I mean, you brought up something pretty philosophical. It's a little bit too late for me to get too deep into that, but yeah. How much does our vote matter? Well, look, guys. Yes, I get it. There's been people that have been talking about a new world order for a while. I'm not going to deny that one bit. That a lot of things are getting controlled, that there's just puppet masters up there just pulling all the strings. I get that. But I still like to vote. I still want to vote. I still think it's important to vote. So the whole issue is very, very complicated. But yes, I want to vote. Let's see here. Am I buffering again? Somebody said I was buffering again. Let's see here if I can tell. No, it looks like I'm back on. Look up the TAPS Act when you get a chance. I will. I might be familiar with it already, but boy, I'm getting tired, guys. So, hey, it was good to hang out with you guys. I just came in here just kind of on a whim because I'm like, you know what? I want to talk about this because, man, well, there's nobody here. It's too late. You know, my wife and daughter went to bed a couple hours ago. So I could have just sat and talked to this wall, but I figured I'd talk to you guys because, again, on a lot of things, you guys are smarter than me, and I'm reading a lot of good stuff. So tonight was more of a rant stream. I do appreciate everyone that's in here, all your comments. I'll go back and read it later, and I guarantee there's going to be like 20 comments where I'm like, man, I really wish I would have replied to that guy. It's just because, again, I've been kind of ranting tonight. But if there's anything you guys need to say or ask me at the last second, go ahead, because I'm going to sign off here in just a second. What's up, Matt Morrison? How's it going, man? Orion Fixer earlier said it's not loaded. No, those aren't. I mean, not that they're still not, viable weapons for defense, but those aren't exactly my go-tos, Yeah, let's see here. In favor of Trump is a deferred vote. Yeah, like Mateo was saying, not voting for Rand Paul or Cruz in favor of Trump was a deferred vote for the left. Well, I mean, Trump put out a book, guys, years ago in his book. We all knew this. He put out a thing that said he was, supported the Clinton crime bill and assault weapons ban. I was hoping he would have changed a little bit. Here's the problem. We had Hillary Clinton, guys. Hillary Clinton. Like, quite possibly the worst human being that's ever even ran for president. And trust me, some of the worst possibly human beings do run for president. And yeah, she was even lower than the average snake. So yeah, I voted for him. I did. Did I have my doubts? Yes. Did I vote for Rand Paul? Originally, did I want to vote for Rand Paul? Yes. When he had dropped out by the time it came time for the primaries, I voted for Cruz. Well, let me show you guys something here. Cruz 2016, Hillary for prison, okay? So, I always was against Hillary. Can you guys see the Cruz there? Now look, Cruz lost. Is he perfect? No. But that's whatever. But no, I did vote for Trump. I'm not going to step back here and be high on my horse and say, look, guys, I never voted for him. You were all wrong. Look, if you guys were wrong, I was just as wrong as every one of you. So I'm really just literally kind of like, come on, guys, let's get a huddle together here and figure out what the heck we're going to do. I'm not calling any one of you guys that voted for him stupid, because if I am, I'm just as stupid as you. You know what I mean? Hey, the Desert Loner does bring up a good point. He says, I vote for people, not against people. That's why I've been voting third party. That is a way to look at it. I respect you for that too. I do. In my case, I wanted to vote against Hillary. You probably understand what I mean. I understand what you're saying, though. I really do. Yeah, Chris. Yeah, I think people are probably keeping them, to be honest with you. Not really anybody's talking about it. The federal government, they won't give us a list of how many were turned in. I know a few local police stations have been interviewed, and they've said, what are you even talking about? Like, we didn't even know there was a turn in. That shows you how they got this many, 0. So, yeah, I think you're right, Chris. Poor conservative says gingers always vote. Is that true? Yeah, I've got red hair if you guys couldn't tell. If there's anyone out there that can't see very well, I definitely... Well, my hair isn't as red, but if it's in the sun more, it'll get redder. I've just been wearing a hat pretty much all summer. Trying to keep the sun off me as much as possible, you know. Oh, man, there's a lot of good comments here, guys. Will G, Obama back. Yep. Man, Uncle Dan even popped in here earlier. I was hoping you were still kicking, buddy. Looks like he went to bed a while ago, but Tim 18 wheels. Nicholas 7183. Hopefully you're still here. Nice to see you here. He says, I say we get the founder of GOA to have a place in our government. Sure. He might become corrupt too, but it's worth a try. A lot better than what we have. A lot better than what we have. Yeah, the good ones don't really run, do they? But back to answer your question earlier, Chris, I went on a rant for a long time. His appointments might help. I sure hope they help. But as of right now, haven't done much. Bastard says the M1 does my voting. Dave Gass popped in earlier. What's up, man, if you're still here? See, with this black background, it's hard to pick up everybody. So if I ever miss somebody, just say, hey, at Glock Shooter, why are you blowing me off, man? And I'll say, oh, I'm not blowing you off. I just didn't see you. 6.4 Hemi's here. What's up, man? How did you sneak in here earlier? 6.4 Hemi was pretty blunt. He said Trump has been the worst trader for the 2A than anyone. Like I said, think for yourselves, guys. I don't know what to tell you to do. We'll keep talking about this, though. We could be talking about this, but it could be 86 all over again, like Tim 18 Wheels said earlier. Dax earlier said if suppressors are outlawed, I guess I'll have to get more solvent traps. See what happens, guys? I go on a long rant. I have a hard time keeping up with the comments. I'm going back an hour ago. So I'll stop boring you guys because you guys probably already read all this stuff. But let me just see if anything else has popped up here. Let's see here. So long as Sasha Baron Cohen never calls him. Oh, geez. You guys remember the head of the GOA when he called him up and got him to admit to him wanting to give little kids handguns or whatever it was? Oh, man. Oh, you're still paying 6.4. Cool. I don't want to think I was blowing you off, man. You've been a subscriber to the channel for a long time. Again, sometimes I miss somebody, guys, but you guys don't really care, do you? You guys are more about hanging out with each other, which is good. Mike J, what's happening, Mike? Nice to see you. He says, I wonder what they will do. Depending on what you're talking about, I could believe about anything, man. It's just sad, guys. It really is. But I'm not saying there's nothing we should do about it at all. I'm just saying, I've learned in life, even with estimates, I was looking at a job earlier today. I want to do the job. It's for a repeat customer I've known forever. And I'm walking around looking at it, and I'm like, man, I'm just going to think about it. Some good decisions are good to just sleep on for a little bit. Now, we shouldn't just permanently go to sleep and lay idle forever, but some of the best decisions are made after just thinking about it a little bit. So, we've had some good ideas tonight. What are we supposed to do here? Maybe we do set up a rally and say, look, Trump, you're not getting our vote until you turn pro 2A. Because, of course, I'd like to have him if he was pro 2A. I mean, he is doing some pretty good things that I like. But I'm sorry, those other things don't add up to enough for me. Will G, half Irish, not that I know of, man. Really, I'm kind of a mutt, if you will. I know the only thing I can really trace back for sure would be that I'm most definitely 25% Italian. The other 75% is a mixture of several things. I don't know exactly. Maybe some Irish, though. Give me Pence over Trump is what Mateo said. I agree. The only way Pence becomes president, though, is if Trump, I guess, gets impeached and removed or something, which I'm not calling for that right now. I'm just saying. Well, I'm sure I'll get my alert on how many subs that I lost for ripping on Trump, but it doesn't matter. I appreciate every last sub that I have. If you guys have other friends that would be into hanging out, the more the merrier. So I appreciate my subs. I really do, but that's not the only reason I do this. I'm sure I got a few people mad, but hey, I'm just trying to be fair with this. You know, I can sit here and list you some good things Trump's done, and I've tried to do that tonight. But with guns, nope. And guns just happen to be the most important thing I vote on. So creepy shotgun Joe or Trump, I guess we're going to have to think about it, guys. Yeah, Tim 18 Wheels, good point. Uncertainty and the rights is not good. People have panic bought guns, ammo, magazines, etc. But eventually the credit cards have to be paid off. That's a good way to look at it. And I'm not saying none of this, guys, to invoke a panic. I don't think that's what you were saying, Tim. But just in case, I'm not trying to get none of you panicked. I'm just saying there's an election coming up, 2020. My hat's over there. Should I start wearing it? Should I give it to someone else? I mean, you guys know what I'm saying here. It's just not good. Not a good situation. Yeah. Sword of the Spirit brings up a good point. He says, think about it. If you really want to get rid of the Second Amendment, how do you really do it? You infiltrate the other side. It's tactical strategy. Hey, there's no way to prove what you're saying, but I can't argue against it. Let's just put it that way. I cannot argue against what you're saying, man. You just might be right. Maybe the next Bernie supporter will be a better shot with an SKS. Jeez. You can buy me an iced tea, Mike. I don't really drink alcohol, but I do like my unsweetened iced tea. So was out cutting some grass earlier. That's my trademark cup holder mark there. All right, guys, it was fun. I've gone an hour and 24 minutes. I only wanted to go about 30 minutes, but was having too much fun and lost track of time. So I'm going to sign off. It's a work day. I'll be back on Friday night. So I appreciate you guys stopping in here. Think about it, guys. Any suggestions, bring them up next stream, Some of you guys live maybe near me here. Maybe we do need to have a little bit of a rally or whatever. It's not out of the realm of reality. I don't know. All right, guys. It was fun. I appreciate everyone's comments. Again, if I missed you, it wasn't intentional. Just kind of went on a few long rants tonight. And a long buffer, too, apparently. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.